Good afternoon, Jacqueline. I hope you're hearing me. So we shall proceed as the rest join us. Last week, I briefly introduced the course outline. So today I will just go directly to the introduction bit. So now that you were not in last week, I can just briefly share the course outline, very brief. Then from there I proceed to the first topic. So I'm sharing the course outline just because you are not in, but I may know where I'm supposed to begin today. You can see still sharing, so we can just give it some few minutes. But you get it at the other side, that we can begin together. I believe that I've shared lesson 4, so you can take your time, orient yourself as early as enough so that we move together. So it's there. So for the course outline, I'll be doing it very fast. So the first topic will be the diffusion of innovation, the meaning of terms in the history. Then from there we shall proceed to the innovation decision process, where the individuals need to make decisions in terms of innovation. Innovation is all about a new idea, as I'll be mentioning the introduction bit. So you'll as an individual, you need to make a decision, a move, whether you're going to accept the innovation or not to accept the innovation. So I'll be discussing about the innovation decision process, where I'll basically talk about the steps and the types of innovation that we go through. Then from there, we shall go to attributes of innovation. Here we shall discuss the characteristics of innovation and the elements in the fusion of innovation. From there we shall get of adoption. As I'll be giving my introduction, adoption is a mental process, but diffusion is a social process. So we shall be giving the key distinction between the two, because there's a slight distinction. So when talking about the rate of adoption, mental someone accept to accept the change, and it cannot be done as a group, because we all have different perceptions. So we shall be discussing the rate of adoption. If you have 5 members, is it easy for you to convince them like when you have 100 members? So we shall be discussing the rate of adoption in terms of the speed, the time, and number of people. Then from there we shall proceed to opinion leadership. We're discussing the role of leaders in convincing people to accept change. We know change is not easy to be accepted. There are those people who resist change. So we'll be discussing the role of leader or leaders in the diffusion of innovation. As I'll be discussing about the laggards, the early majority, those people are always negative. So how do the leaders create innovation or a new idea? Then from there we shall be discussing the change that people are bringing change or effecting change in the community. We can also call them community developers. We can also call workers. We can also call them project officers or field officers. People who bring change in the community. So that topic will be discussing about the functions of the change agents, because they have a role to play when talking about the fusion of innovation. And then we shall give the characteristics and the reasons for change agents. Why do we need them when we are diffusing the information? And then from there we shall proceed to the theoretical formation of the diffusion of innovation. Now there's a theory there known as diffusion of innovation. We'll be discussing what it really entails, what it discusses about as a theory itself, and if possible we shall give a critique if there's any on the theory. And then from there we shall do the implications of innovation decision, where we shall discuss the positive impacts and the negative. There must be a side effect of everything, both positive and the negative, the implications of innovation decision. Again, we shall discuss the extension services that are given by the change agents now. So if we may discuss this in a county level, what are the role of the community developers in terms of developing the community, health-wise, agriculture, security, modernity? What is the role? So we shall be discussing some of the extension services and the institutions that collaborate to assist in this. From shall do the role of sociologists in the diffusion process. So, so what is the comes to the and to start the generation that he also so as sharing content, I go directly to the first the topic. I hope we are together up to that far, unless you have any question. Any question, Jacqueline? You can ask if you have as I share the topic one. So I'm sharing the topic one notes. And very fast because last week we had already discussed these. So I'm on the introduction on the topic one. We're talking about the definition of the first is fusion. Where diffusion, as I began, it's a social process. So you really need to remember the keyword there. It's social process by which I communicate certain over time the members of a social system. The origin of diffusion innovation theory vary, and for this matter, Rogers gave a definition of innovation as an idea, practice, or object that is perceived as new by an individual or other unit of adoption and to adapt an innovation means to acquire a new product or behavior. So diffusion is a social process, and when something is termed as a process, it takes several steps. So you cannot inform the change agents about innovation today and for them to do the entire, community to the same day. It takes, steps. So when it's talk about the social process, this tells us that we can do it as in groups, like us, both gender sensitive, age, from the little, the rich, the middle, and the poor class. So you can diffuse information to the entire region, to the entire team, the 20 people. Then the 20 people now can diffuse it to the others, meaning it's a social process. For instance, it is encouraging social integration. People are coming together to listen to what these people are telling them. So diffusion is more of a social process. So diffusion is a social process by which an innovation is communicated through certain channels. Yeah, we need to have the channels that we are communicating. You can information channel. If it's maybe if there are many, you can. If it's in a rural setting, you can either use the road shows, or you can use the radio FMs, the vernacular FMs for that matter. If you're in an urban setting and you want to diffuse some information, the media like television is very common. Cell phones or the mobile phones, especially through the WhatsApp, people are very frequent. So it's good when you're doing your diffusion, you check the place where you are. Is it in a rural setting? Is it in an urban setting? Because you cannot use the same channel everywhere, depending on the considerations of remote areas, the issue of infrastructure, and all that. So we certain channel over time among the members of a social system. From there, I believe up to that far we are together. I want to go to the key distinction. Let me check. Yes, so we already said diffusion is a social process and it entails certain channels for the information to be transmitted. We go to the term innovation. We all know innovation is all about a new idea, a new concept that comes to someone's idea, a mind. So an innovation is an idea, a practice, or an object perceived as new by an individual or other unit of adoption. An innovation is an idea, practice, or object that is perceived as new by an individual or other units. Sorry, that's a repetition. Sorry for that. It entails technology, practice developed through research or innovation. So for this matter, innovation is something new, and everybody may want to know what about it. But the element of you accepting to go through the innovation is the challenge. So everyone may listen, yeah, but taking that initiative to carry through, it may be not time. So the change agents, they come in that they may convince people to accept the change. So that is all about an idea, a practice, or an object. Then is adoption now is a mental process. Keyword there, mental process, meaning I cannot make a decision for someone else. We all have different perceptions, our thoughts are different, our decisions are different, our plans are different. So when we're talking about adopting, you cannot talk about it in general in a community that all the members have adopted in the same time, the same period. No. It's a mental process, meaning it's more individual. Someone takes the initiative themselves. So it's a mental process through which an individual passes from hearing about an innovation to final adoption. First, you have to get the knowledge. You've heard about an idea, you process it, then you sit down and make a decision. Am I going to accept or to reject? So it's all about a personal move. It's not about a group move. So you may realize that diffusion is easy because you're dealing with a group, but adoption, it's tricky because it's an individual decision. So the key distinction between diffusion and adoption is that diffusion is a social process while adoption is a mental process. Diffusion and adoption are thus closely interrelated concepts and processes. So I want to stop sharing for a while so that I may encourage anyone maybe who has a question on the introduction bit. Do we have any question on the introduction bit? Please, you can unmute so that I may get any question on the introduction before I go to topic 2. Janet, welcome. If you can hear me, you can unmute so that I may get your response on topic 1. Janet and Jacqueline, can you hear me? Yes. Janet. Janet, Jacqueline. In case of any question, so I hope to get so I can proceed to topic 2, and in case the end of the select on 2. Mind to be disconnected here, but I'll be back. It's connecting so that I share the notes. All right. So I'm sharing now the topic 2 so that we may go through together. Now that we know what is diffusion, what is adoption, and what is innovation. So let's yes, then move together. So topic 2 is on the elements now of diffusion. And from the introduction bit, it's talking about, I believe we are together on 2, please. Let me share again. I believe there's a problem there. Let me share. it's sharing. Sorry, there was an error. It's not sharing. All right, so it is here. Yeah. So topic 2, the elements of diffusion. I'll move very fast. I'll go to the. So most individuals do not evaluate an innovation on the basis of scientific studies of its consequences, although such objective or evaluations are not entirely irrelevant, especially to the very first individuals who adopt it. Instead, most people depend mainly on subjective evaluation of an innovation conveyed to them from individuals like themselves who have previously adopted the innovation. This depends on the experience of peers, which indicates that diffusion is a social process, and the heart of the diffusion process consists of the modeling and imitation by potential adopters or their network partners who have adapted previously. So I'll go directly to the elements of diffusion. And the first key element here is innovation, sorry. So for you to accept the social process, the one you've termed as diffusion, you will have first to get the idea. You cannot accept something you do not know. And remember, we said diffusion is a social process. So meaning if you are taking it to the entire community, to a region, to a subset in the community, they cannot accept something they do not know. So first create that idea to the members of the community. So tell them about that innovation you want to do. And remember, as a change agent, you'll have to show the interest that you have with the idea. Do not look gloomy, don't look like you're disappointed when you're sharing the information, because community members believe on what you tell them as community members or change agents. So if you want to win the community members, first show them the interest that, show them how interesting the innovation is, how it will be of help to them, how the idea will transform their lives. Then from there, now we can go to the process now of adopting. So the first element is innovation. That is the idea that you're taking to the members of the community. So if the idea seems new, it is an innovation. The innovation may represent a slight modification of a significant departure from the existing idea or practice. The idea constitutes the central element of an innovation, which often manifests itself in a material or behavioral form. So first of all, tell the members about the idea that you want to talk to them about, the innovation bit. Then the other element is communication channel. I mentioned this when I was introducing. You need to know the type of people you're dealing with in terms of region, where are they based, in terms of tribe, in terms of stability. Are they in the rich class, the middle class, or the poor class? That you may know how you're going to handle them, because all people may not be in the same level. So when you're choosing the channel to communicate this innovation to the members, be well known of your members. Know your members first before you start communicating to them. So it's very important if you talk to your members well, at least for them to know more about you. So for the channels, you need to be very considerate because, as you mentioned about the region, so you prefer to use radios, maybe in the rural setting. Television may be in the rural setting, but partially. Newspapers are a bit challenging because of the elderly, unless you're targeting a middle-aged group and others. So you need to choose the right channel to apply. So as I mentioned earlier, for the rural settings, if you're dealing with a smaller number of group of people, you can do face to face because you can just visit them. And the people whom you love diffuse the information to, they will help you diffuse it to the entire region. So you can do face to face if it's a small group. If it's a larger group, please, you can do the road shows. Then you can do the FMs, do the local radio FMs for them to listen. You can do a television, though it's not very, very advisable for the rural settings. If you are applying it on an urban setting, now you can take the example of the WhatsApp groups. So social media, the gadgets are very convenient. The television, the newspapers, the billboards, so to communicate the information to the members. On the other hand, interpersonal channels are more effective in persuading an individual to accept a new idea, especially if the interpersonal channel links two or more individuals who are similar in socioeconomic status, education, or other important ways. Interpersonal channels involve a face-to-face exchange between two or more individuals. So Again, here, as I just mentioned about the face-to-face is an example of interpersonal channel. So if you know you're targeting people in the same socioeconomic status, education, it's advisable if you can use it, the face-to-face communication. After you choose your right way to communicate, the mode of communicating, we go to time. Time we know is of essence. Time is important. So on time, let me scroll it down. Time is the third element in diffusion process. In diffusion process is time. The third element in diffusion process is time. Time is involved in diffusion in the innovation decision process, innovation's rate of adoption, and the innovativeness. I will begin with the first one, the innovation decision process. Innovation decision processes are meant to process again because you're making a decision and nobody can make decision for the other person. So with the innovation decision is all about, are members willing to accept your innovation? If they are not willing, how will you convince them to accept this new idea? So time will tell. If you plan your time well and strategize your time well, you will win the hearts of the people. But if you take longer period of time and you're not taking them anything that is convincing them, it's just like wasting your time in the community. So you really need to check your timing very well so that you may be able to convince as many members as possible. So some will accept, others will reject. So as a change agent, always be ready for anything, because as we said, change is not that easy to be accepted. So there are some steps when someone is making a decision in relation to innovation. The first step is the knowledge. You need to make sure the members have the know-how. They know what is about the innovation or the idea. Two, you need to persuade your members. Convince them as you can. As I said, you need to show them you're interested first. Because if you don't appear like it's something in you, they will not even accept it as well. So please persuade them, convince them as you can, as a change agent or as an extension officer. Then from there now, decision you cannot make for them. They need to make the decision now. This is all about adopting or rejecting. It's only two things there. They will accept or reject. Then from there, it's what we call implementation. Implementation is all about converting ideas into action. If they accepted, now they need to do it practical. If they rejected, well and good, you leave it there. But for implementation goals, not those people who adopt the innovation. So they need not convert all these ideas into real action. They will help you diffuse the information to other members. And then from there, we'll go to the last step, which is now confirmation. The members need to confirm, they need to give you feedback of how they've experienced it through implementation. With confirmation, you can help them through monitoring and evaluation, even you to know the weakness, the strength, the opportunities, and the threats. So confirmation comes to all of you, both the extension officer, the change agent, and the community members. So that's the first step in time, the innovation decision process. Then number two, on time, you need to check on the innovativeness. And on the innovativeness is the degree to which an individual or other unit of adoption is relatively earlier in adapting new idea than the other members. When we are doing perfusion of innovation, we will not all accept the innovation once. There are those who will say, let me see others progress, then I'll join you later. There are those who will be very quick to join in the first day. So with innovativeness, again, your timing comes in. Those who have accepted as early as day one, they'll move faster. Within 3 days, they'll be through with everything until confirmation. But those who are slower, maybe they'll go slow, and maybe they may take even a month. So you need to check your timing. Those who began early, they need to finish early. They should not wait for the others, because waiting for the others will keep them waiting, and they'll be like, this thing is not working. We are just waiting for the people who denied, who rejected. So you need to be on those who have adapted early, take them through as fast as they can. Then the others convince them slow by slow. As we said, it is a process. So process really needs a lot of time. Then from there, the other one is the rate of adoption. This is the speed of how the innovation will be now taken by the members. If we have 100 members and you have 5 change agents to diffuse, and you have 20 members and you have 20 change agents, that ratio is not the same. For 5 members with 5 change agents, the rate of adoption is very fast because each change agent will pick one member. But if you have 5 change agents and they're convincing 100 members, speed is slower because one change agent will have 20 members in the society. So many events will take a day for them to talk to people. So the rate of adoption also, the rate of adoption in terms of speed, it's also about how many people, the length of time you spend, and the number of people that community, or the percentage of that members in the community. So checking your time, also check the rate of adoption. Time on something. That work. That is a very to consider adoption. And then children are those in community village, or county, some of the institutions or the organizations in the community. So when you deal with the diffusion, you need to consider which school to apply. If many people are in social clubs, maybe football, basket weaving for women, you can target that. So it's good to know the strategy in the community before you know about your diffusion. Such you may know the people who are so this in community. Possible even we know about organization culture. So it's not by dealing what I believe. What do they believe in common? It's not about the culture of the community, but the system culture. What is it all about? So it's good for a change to have an idea about the systems in the community as you do the process of diffusion. So I want to stop sharing so that I may now get to know if we are together. So kindly you can unmute so that we know how far we are. I've already discussed the introduction bit and I've discussed the chapter 2 about the elements of the diffusion. So Jacqueline and Janet, if you can hear me, kindly unmute. Jacqueline? Yes, kindly unmute. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah.
I can see Jacqueline Jenga. Jacqueline, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Oh, have you had the lecture or you are away?
I was here.
Oh,
I've heard.
You
You
heard,
can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Ah, okay. I was wondering how to operate this. Okay.
You're trying to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, so were you able to see the shared notes I was sharing on the screen?
I opened before and I have downloaded those notes and the outline. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Janet, can you hear me now? Oh, you can hear me now. So anyone who has a question on the chapter 1 first? I've taught the chapter 1. Anyone who has a question?
No.
You're okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the difference between the diffusion, innovation, and adoption.
Yes.
There were some keywords I've used there. Who can give me the distinction between the three? I say, let's begin with diffusion. I said diffusion is a what?
It said diffusion is a social way.
Yeah, social way. Very good. So it's more. It entails many people.
Yes.
Because it's all about socializing. Then adoption, we said it's
about mental process.
Yeah, it's a mental process. Very good. Meaning it's more of an individual move. You do not rely on other people. And then the last one was on innovation. What is innovation from your understanding?
It's an idea, a new idea Something.
Yeah, it's something idea, practice, and invention, something very new that members may want to know. So if you want to convince community members about something new, you really have to convince them. You need to show them you're interested first, as I just mentioned on the notes.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot diffuse information without you yourself being interested. So first show them you're ready to help them, assist them so that they may accept the change. We are currently seeing so many changes. So even you, I'm convincing you to join the e-learning. Cindy.
Yes.
Yeah, so change is not that easy. So it needs a lot.
Okay.
So any question on topic 1, you've said you are okay.
Yes. Yes.
Topic two, I've talked about the elements. We mentioned time. What else did we mention? Rate of adoption.
Channels.
Channels. Yeah, we said if you're in the rural setting, kindly consider more of face-to-face, the interpersonal channels.
Okay.
What is the disadvantage of WhatsApp in rural setting as a way to communicate?
Some people don't have smartphones.
Yeah. Network problem.
Okay.
And even the illiteracy level,
Yeah.
So you may realize that people are really not really understanding even what you're talking about as an extension officer. And remember, as a change agent, when you're doing the diffusion, you need to diffuse it to few people. Then they help you diffuse to the other members of the community. So remember what you train these 5 or 20 people, it's what they will take to the other members. So if you teach them WhatsApp, they may do the WhatsApp thing and it may not work. So because with diffusion, we say as a change agent or as a social worker, I cannot diffuse the entire region, but I can pick on 5 people, I diffuse to them, then they spread it. Like now, for instance, you are 2 of you in class today, Janet and Jacqueline.
Yeah.
What I've taught you today in chapter 1, I can tell you now, diffuse it to the entire team, the entire class.
Okay.
Yeah, meaning what I've just exactly explained, it's just what you may explain. So if I explain something wrong, you will also diffuse it wrong. Is it true?
Yes.
Yeah, so as a change agent, a social worker, community developer, when you are diffusing, make sure you're like, and I mean, just assume you're talking to the entire community. So what you may expect them to listen, please talk to these 5 people or 20 people you've chosen, then let them now diffuse to other members of the society. This helps to save time, because if you say you're going to diffuse to 40 million Kenyans, honestly, you'll spend 101 years. But if you only pick counties and talk about the county governors, the governors diffuse to sub-counties, it's easy for them. Are you seeing the sense now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is now all about process of diffusion. It cannot be done by one person. You need the assistance of other people. So the element of extension officers comes in. They help us to extend the information from one person to another. So from there, I've talked about the elements. We have innovativeness, we have the rate of adoption, we have the social system, and then the time. There's something I've explained by the notes. Rate of adoption. I say that if you have 5 members, extension officers are 5, and community members are 5, you may even take a minute to diffuse the information. Is that true?
Yeah.
If you have 5 members, 5 change agents, and 5 community members, you can even take a minute. Why? Why do you think it's easy for 5 community members and 5 change agents? Because each member is diffusing to one person. Are we there?
Yes.
The ratio is 1:1. What will happen if you have 5 extension officers and you have 1,000 community members? Is it possible for a one day?
No.
5 divided by 1,000 is what? I hope you have your calculators.
200 again.
200. Yes, Janet, it's true. It's 200. So meaning one change agent diffuses to 200 members. Imagine you are a social worker. Can you talk to 200 members in a day?
No.
No.
No, it's not even applicable. So meaning the rate of adoption matters in terms of the speed and the number of people. So if you have fewer people, it will take a shorter period of time. If you have many, it's longer. So what should you do as a social worker or extension officer to save this time? If you realize that you have 1,000 members, please, and you had like 5 extensions, you can add these members to become 50. 50 extension officers versus 1,000 community members. The ratio goes is 1:20. Now 20 is easy, sindio?
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to check your timing, your speed before you do the diffusion, so that you may not mess on any stage. Again, I've listed some of the things in terms of innovativeness, the community members they need to know about. Number one was knowledge. You cannot convince me if you don't first create an idea to me. Let me know what is this diffusion about. Number two was persuading. Were you there when I was showing the slide?
Yeah.
Or I mean, yeah. You first give the knowledge. The members need to know what is it all about. If now you are doing with now the COVID-19, sorry. If you're talking about the use of face masks, please create awareness first. Don't go carrying them and tell people to wear. It will look weird. First, create awareness. What is it, COVID-19, and what is it all about? Then from there, now you can use the physical face masks and show them even how they should be done. So from knowledge, we go to persuasion. You need to persuade the members. Don't appear too rude, too fast, too quick. No. Take your time and create awareness to them, and then persuade them to accept the change. From there, now we go to step number 3 was decision. I think it was decision. I'm not on the slide. I'm trying to remember them. It was decision. So after you've persuaded, some will adopt, others will reject. So those who adopt there is a group that you'll move together with to implementation. Because I said implementing is converting ideas into action. So those who have adopted, you go with them to implement. But if someone has rejected, what will you do? If someone rejects at step number 3, decision, if someone says no, will you implement with them?
Depends if it is one.
It depends.
Hello?
Yes, we are hearing.
And if the project had progressed, or if other community members majority have agreed.
Yeah. So if they reject, and maybe you may explain to them again, and then they see the essence of it. If they accept, well and good, you can move together with them. Okay. Then from there, now you do the implementation. Now you convert all these ideas into action. So the members need to be very active at this step, because it's a step where you will know those who are serious and those who are not serious. So implementing is a very key step in terms of the rate of adoption. Then finally, you can do what we are calling the confirmation. You need to confirm together with the members, as I said, about the SWOT, the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats. Again, this is like the monitoring and evaluation. You need to know the progress of the members. How was it? Can we do subsequent? Subsequent, I said, in advocacy and lobbying, it's all about beginning a new project after the other one has expired. Do you remember that, or you forgot?
I remember.
Oh, yeah, very good. So after confirmation, now the response you'll get from members will help you know if you can proceed or not proceed. So that is it on topic 2. If someone has a question on the entire topic 1 and 2, you can ask if you have an attention. And where are you, the rest of you, by the way?
Jacqueline. The network.
So let me begin with Jacqueline, because so let me begin with Jacqueline first. Jacqueline.
Yes.
Yes, let me begin with you. Where are your friends?
Emma has enrolled, and
yes.
And Frecia and Agnes.
Yes.
I don't know why they have not attended the class, but they have enrolled.
They have enrolled.
Yes.
Then you remind them if they have an assignment for last semester, they sent via my email.
Okay, I will remind them.
Yeah, please remind them. Then tell them to join the next class now. Please. You should not miss classes because I'm marking the attendance after this.
Okay, I will let them know. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you for that. Janet, where are you with your team? Janet, are you?
I am only having one,
Uh,
but she says she's having problems with the network and she cannot log into the blue tick. I don't know if it's blue button.
big
Yes.
blue button.
yes. Yes, she cannot log in. She has issues with that, but she can able to access the notes and everything. Even other classes, she's having the same trouble.
So we hope with time the network will be okay for her. At least she attends some online classes.
Yeah, she normally takes the notes, but the part of logging into the live classes, she cannot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So since even the classes are recorded, so the recorded classes are still there. They can listen.
Okay.
But I'm not encouraging on the people to rely on the recorded because I'm marking the attendance. And you know the attendance is 70%. You remember the rules, the policy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm still marking the attendance. So this one is maybe for someone who has missed today because of power, something like that. They can listen because the class is recorded.
Okay.
Okay. So please, Janet, again remind your team. Cut 1, cut 2, assignment 2. Anyone who has not submitted, please to submit.
Okay.
Yeah, please help me so that I get all the marks. So anyone maybe was another question. So thank you for that response regarding your friends. I'm happy. So another question maybe.
No.
Have you enrolled for other classes now? Semester 3,
Yeah,
all of them?
we enrolled for research and this, and we also enrolled for social rehabilitation. Then governance, leadership and governance. We don't know who is teaching that because it hasn't started yet.
And in the portal, can you see anything like notes?
It's just written topic 1 to 2, but it has not started even topic 1.
Oh, okay. Maybe we shall check on that. There's no problem. Everything will be well taken care of.
Okay.
So for this semester, karibuni sana. I know Jacqueline is here today. Janet, we were with her last class. So we have. So let's hope for the best, and we hope we shall cooperate well. Though we are not physically together, but spiritually we are. Cindy.
Almost the same.
Yes, Jacqueline.
It is almost the same as when you lecture in class.
Yeah, actually, it's only that you're not. I know you are so eager to see my video, but don't worry.
You're in bed.
Don't worry. No, Janet, please. You know this is a recorded class.
sorry.
I'll try one. Anyway, there's no problem. But I'll try one day to show the video.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm very, very grateful. If there's no question, maybe I'll be logging out. So very soon I'll be sending some questions just for discussion.
Okay, thank you.
So that I see if you guys are, understanding what we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can have a good afternoon. Keep on checking the notes because I think I'm adding them like every week.
Okay, you too.
So have a good.
Yeah, you
Okay.
too.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You too. Thank you.
Oh, ya ndio. Najua hata sijajua venye hii class